Hello all, it's Marco from Random Door Media. Welcome to the next video in the Harbour Town Build Play series, a series in which we make use of Rising World's creative mode to just build structures around a beautiful scenic harbour. Previously, a few docks and a dock master's office were built, followed by a warehouse and part 1 of the town hall. In this video, I finished the town hall by adding the details to the exterior and surrounding area. Since I'm continuing with the medieval style building with the white plaster and wooden frames, I went back to the very first dockmaster and just copied the slanted wooden frame support. That way it just makes it easy to put it all around the town hall as well. I ended up having to use the precision block placement quite a few times in order to get it lined up. It's a little tedious because there's quite a bit of these little supports that I have to do. So right now I just did all the angled one way, so that way I don't have to keep changing them every time. So I went around the main building of the town hall, and now I've switched it around, did the bell tower, and now I'm going back to do the supports on the main structure of the town hall. Nothing too fancy, just low time consuming. The next building that I'm going to work on will probably be the inn. I'll make that down by the docks. It'll be near the warehouse, and it'll be pretty straightforward. I already have a picture of some medieval buildings, and I have a building already sort of planned that I want to make the inn. And that's probably going to be in the next video. Now that I'm looking up at it, I'm not too sure if I made the bell big enough. Maybe the bell should have been a bit bigger. Perhaps I might change that or leave well enough alone. Here to add more to the framework, more to the details, just adding some horizontal frames. Sort of like going back and forth to make sure that they all line up correctly. It's all about the detail. The more detailed something looks, the more realistic it looks. At least in my opinion. And that's where I get a little bit more fancier. So instead of just having the sloped supports in the corners, added a bit more slopes in these little areas too. And then over here on the bottom I decided to go with like a zigzag pattern. I'm not an architect myself, so usually when I come up with something like that, it's because I saw it in a picture. I'll look up like examples of medieval structures, or at least this sort of building style, and I'll use some as examples. I may not make it exactly the same, but I'll use them as a guideline. So just a few more to go here. And to give you an idea of how much time it takes to do this, this video is being played at triple speed. There, so the bell tower itself looked good, so I'm just gonna go around the sides of the town hall and do a few more of these slope supports down here too. On a previous video, I made a comment how there's animals in the game, but there's no NPCs, like no humans. Because it would be nice, even if there were just like mannequins, like fake people that you could put in the town, just to give it a bit of realism, almost make it look like a theme park. And then I thought, Rising World does have a lot of block shapes and ability to make some really detailed stuff. I could actually just do that myself. I could make some probably decent looking mannequins just out of the existing blocks, and just place them about the town to make it look like there's people in it. That's something I might think about in the future. So the more of these angled pieces that I put on the building, the more detailed the structure looks. So at this point, I'm done with the framework detail, and I just want to do a few things over here at the front door. So I just wanted to add some simple steps. So I chose this gray brick and made a simple two-step step that goes up to the front door. Nothing too fancy. I was contemplating on doing a porch of some kind, but I got that overhang over the door. That's good enough. And just like with other sections, I wanted to take out some of the default cobblestone that I put that represents like just the ground, and instead of replace it with a different type of cobblestone, just what stands out more. Because this is a different level, you have to get up there, so I'm going to put in some stairs. And to make sure things stand out better, I chose a totally different style of stone. There, so I went with this for the brick that leads up to the front door. And I just thought it'd look nice to have like a bit of a curb. Like something that just adds a bit more definition to it instead of just being the plain cobblestone right up to the plain brick. Get rid of some of the blocks I don't need. So here I was contemplating on making a fence that sort of goes around this raised area. And I was going to make the fence out of a wooden window frame. Then I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just continue the motif with the rope and post fencing that I've already created and I've already used in some of the other areas. Yeah, that way I'll make use of the blueprint that I made, and it sort of has like a continuing theme that goes on. Yeah, so that's why I'll just use this type of fence around here. Maybe it's just a common thing for the people who live in this town to use this style. And then a fence over on this side, something to prevent people from walking off to that pit down there. If the series goes on long enough, I don't know how big I'll make it. That area over there where those animals are, I might even expand out there, make more buildings over there. And then over on this side, so I do the same thing. I just continue with the rope and post fence. Without the blueprints, I would have had to have done that all by hand. So that would have been, each of the wooden posts would have been placed down individually. And then the cylinder rope that goes around it, that'd be a second thing. And then the rope itself between it. So each one of those would have to be like 3 separate pieces, all one at a time. I would imagine that over in this direction there probably would be a road that heads off somewhere else too. But that's something to look at in the future. So just like with the front door, decided to put in like a little steps over here and then the back door. So just some simple blocks and some simple steps, just 2 steps that lead up to the door. Wanted this area to be a bit more decorative. I wasn't entirely sure what this fenced-in area would be. The town hall is a place where the mayor would have their office, and perhaps there'd be town meetings, but maybe there could also be some kind of events, like maybe weddings would be held at the town hall or something like that. So I thought that this back area might be a bit more decorative. I was already looking at the plants and decided that maybe trees would be nicer. So I took up the cobblestone, put down some dirt. Of course, that's not dirt, that's actually a block called loam. But I figured that those blocks are great if you want dirt in areas like this, as opposed to trying to make the ground conform to the area. And I didn't want it just to be like a plain piece of dirt with a tree growing out of it, so I made this little, I don't even know what you would call this. It's like this little brick enclosure. It's not a fence. What would you call that? A little brick fence, I guess. I thought that the first one turned out pretty good, so I decided to put in a second one. Perhaps this area could be a place where festivities are held. I went for the same layout. Basically just going to be exactly the same. Placed in the exact same blocks again. And it's easy just to copy and paste the same blocks and then just place them. And then what type of tree? So at first I thought, how about just a different tree? It's like, oh, well, this tree's kind of big. That one's too big. A birch tree? Sure, that's about right. That side seems perfectly fine. Then I copy over that block, and I'm going to make another pathway over here as well. Just the red brick to make it stand out. Now, I don't know how to reset, like this red square here, this is where you're designating the area that you want to delete the blocks. As you notice, I moved it over from where it was before. I don't know if there's any way of resetting it. Like if you close the game and go back in, then that area will reset again. But if you've already set the area, I don't know how to reset it, if you know what I mean. So I just drag it over from where it was before. I already have the red brick, so just like a little walkway and some benches. So if people want to sit down and enjoy the sun, or like I said, if there's some kind of festival or event going on. Over here, I started thinking that the windows look kind of plain from the outside. So at first I contemplated maybe doing like a window frame to make them stand out. But then I thought of maybe something even more detailed, and I settled on a planter box. So I chose make sure I get a different type of wood, just lining it up to make sure I get something that looks like the right size. And then I have the same thing, the loam dirt block. And then eventually I'll put like flowers in them or something like that. So I'm just trying to get the dirt loam blocks to line up correctly. There. And just take that same wooden texture and just make the sides, all sides of the... Because once I get this done, then I'll just copy it and put it under other windows. There, front, back, two sides. Got the dirt in the middle. Now, I've realized that the dirt actually had gaps at each end, so I took it out and replaced it and make sure it fits the box now. And put an underside too. And it's like, whoops, okay, what kind of plants do I want there? There's a fair amount of flowers to choose from, so I just put a couple flowers. And then I go to blueprint it, and I'm not sure if the flowers will get caught in the blueprint. Turns out they don't. The blueprint will just capture the construction elements, like the blocks. There, so yet another blueprint to save me time. I was like, oh wait, I don't have the blueprint table, and I couldn't remember where to find it. So now I got the blueprint table. Sit down and grab the planter. At first I thought maybe I'll put it under every window, but then I thought it looks kind of awkward if it's under every one, so I sort of like just put it under some of them, but still make it look like symmetrical. And a few over on this side. Eventually I do move that bench because it's kind of in the way. And one under the double window. Now that I have the planter box in place, I have to choose on the flowers. This flower bush is too big. I keep trying to move it around, but I end up settling for the small bunch of flowers instead. And just like 2 or 3 of those, that looks pretty good. Variety of colors, you got the blue and the reddish ones and the yellow ones. There, now the town hall is decorated with planter boxes with flowers. So that's pretty much all the decoration I wanted to do in the town hall. So I started to work on the area near the town hall. Once again, I gotta drag the delete block box over here because I want to change this cobblestone again and to make a different looking cobblestone. One that matches the cobblestone that's in the other area. I have it shrunk a little bit just so there's a little tiny gap to make it look like the cobblestone is like been trodden on. And then I remembered they got these cool lamps. The lamps looked a bit small to me, so I just changed their size. Increased their size a bit. So they look about the size that I want. I'll probably have more of these around the town once I get more buildings developed. I'll probably have more of these lamps. And put in a curb. I don't know if medieval towns would have a curb like this, but I put one in just because in my mind it looks right. Maybe it's because I'm thinking of like a modern day building that has like a curb next to a sidewalk. And some more benches over on this side. Just something to fill in the gaps so there's so it doesn't look empty. A goat getting in the way there. Hey, goat. There, and that's it. So that's the town hall area. So I'm just going to do a short flyby so we can take a look at that. I'll probably work on the inn in the next video. Maybe join me for that one. Take care, everyone.